In a quiet fishing village on the southern island of Okinawa, Japan, a team of researchers from the Tohoku University Sleep Medicine Lab spent 4 years tracking the sleep patterns of 1,400 adults between the ages of 55 and 80. They expected to find what every other longevity study has found in older populations: fragmented sleep, frequent night wakings, declining deep sleep stages. Instead, the data refused to make sense. These men and women, most of them well past 60, were spending more time in restorative slow-wave sleep than American adults in their 30s. Their nighttime cortisol levels were 38% lower. Their melatonin curves looked like those of healthy 25-year-olds. And the strangest part, none of them were taking sleep medication. Not melatonin, not prescription pills, not even chamomile tea. What the researchers eventually uncovered wasn't a single secret. It was a stack of small, almost invisible habits that this population had been doing every night for decades. Habits that quietly rebuild the brain's ability to sleep deeply. Habits that Americans, for the most part, get exactly wrong. In the next 9 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 7 specific habits these Japanese adults follow every single night. You'll learn the actual biological mechanism behind each one, the hormones, the brain systems, the timing windows that matter. Stay until the end because the last habit is the one that most Americans over 50 get backwards, and fixing it alone can transform the way you sleep starting tonight. If you want the complete checklist of these 7 habits, including the exact timing windows and the small adjustments for American household schedules, I've put a free downloadable guide in the description below. Grab it before we begin so you can follow along. A quick anchor before we dive in. According to the most recent data from the CDC and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, somewhere between 50 and 70 million American adults suffer from a chronic sleep disorder. By comparison, the Japan Sleep Foundation's 2023 national survey found that adults over 50 in rural Japanese prefectures report an average of 7 hours and 12 minutes of uninterrupted sleep per night. The gap isn't genetics, it isn't age, it's behavior, repeated nightly for decades. The first habit is one most Americans destroy without realizing it. Japanese adults eat their last meal of the day at least 3 hours before bed, and that meal is small, warm, and almost always includes fermented food, miso, natto, or pickled vegetables. Americans tend to eat large dinners late and finish with something sweet or alcoholic. The problem isn't just the calories, it's that digestion competes with the brain's sleep pressure system. When your stomach is processing a heavy meal at 10 p.m., your body cannot drop its core temperature, which is the single biggest signal the brain uses to initiate deep sleep. Finish eating by 7 p.m. Keep it light. Add something fermented. Your gut bacteria produce serotonin overnight, which the brain converts into melatonin while you sleep. The second habit is the evening bath. Not a quick shower, a deliberate hot soak at around 104 degrees Fahrenheit, taken roughly 90 minutes before bed. This isn't relaxation theater. Research from the University of Texas at Austin, published in 2019 in Sleep Medicine Reviews, confirmed that a hot bath taken in this exact window improves sleep onset speed by 36% and increases slow-wave sleep duration significantly. The mechanism is counterintuitive. The hot water draws blood to the skin's surface, and once you step out, your core temperature drops sharply. That drop is what triggers the brain to release melatonin and begin the descent into deep sleep. Most Americans either skip the bath or take it too close to bedtime and miss the entire mechanism. The third habit happens at exactly the same time every single night. Japanese adults are extraordinarily consistent about their bedtime, usually between 10 and 10:30 p.m. Most Americans treat bedtime as flexible, drifting an hour or two later on weekends. But the circadian system runs on a 24-hour loop, and even a 60-minute shift in your sleep window is enough to suppress the natural melatonin release. The brain doesn't care that it's Saturday. Pick a bedtime. Hold it within a 20-minute window every single night, weekends included. Before we move on to the next habits, I want to mention something important. Everything I've just described, temperature regulation, melatonin timing, cortisol reduction, serotonin production, these are exactly the biological mechanisms that the formula I personally use, called U-Sleep, was built around. It's an all-natural liquid that gives the brain the specific compounds it needs to run its own sleep pressure system, instead of forcing sleep with high-dose synthetics. I've put the link in the description if you want to look at it. But stay here. The next 4 habits are the most important in this video, and the 7th one is the one I wish someone had told me 20 years earlier. The 4th habit is dim light after sunset. In traditional Japanese homes, evening lighting is warm, low, and indirect, usually under 50 lux total in the household. The average American living room runs between 200 and 500 lux of cool blue-white LED light after dark. Blue light at 6500 Kelvin tells the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the brain's master clock, that it is still daytime. Melatonin production halts. You can install warm-tone bulbs, set screens to night mode at sunset, and turn off overhead lights after 8 p.m. The brain reads light first and time second. The 5th habit is what the Japanese call Wabi-Sabi sleep posture, sleeping on a firm futon on the floor with a low pillow. Americans favor soft mattresses and tall pillows, which subtly disrupt cervical spine alignment and restrict the airway. Restricted airflow during the night raises sympathetic nervous system activity, increases micro-awakenings you don't consciously remember, and lowers oxygen saturation. You don't have to throw out your mattress, but a firmer surface and a lower pillow improve airway alignment immediately. The 6th habit is the evening green tea ritual. Japanese adults often have a small cup of low-caffeine sencha or hojicha around 7 or 8 p.m. This sounds counterintuitive. Caffeine before bed? But these specific teas contain a remarkable amino acid called L-theanine, which increases alpha brain waves and quiets racing thoughts. L-theanine is one of the few compounds shown in controlled clinical trials to lower pre-sleep anxiety without causing drowsiness or dependency. The small caffeine dose burns off quickly. The L-theanine effect lingers into the night. And now the 7th habit, the one most Americans over 50 get exactly backwards. Japanese adults wake up at the same time every morning, regardless of how well they slept. Americans, when they sleep poorly, sleep in to catch up. This destroys the entire architecture. Sleeping in floods the brain with conflicting time signals, weakens the next night's sleep pressure, and creates a multi-day spiral of fragmented sleep. The rule is simple and brutal. Bad night, wake up anyway. Get bright sunlight on your retinas within the first 30 minutes of waking. That single act resets the circadian clock more powerfully than anything you can do at night. Here is the complete picture. Eat early and add fermented food. Take a hot bath 90 minutes before bed. Hold a consistent bedtime within a 20-minute window. Dim every light after sunset. Sleep on a firmer surface with a lower pillow. Use L-theanine-rich evening tea. And never, ever sleep in. Get sunlight on your eyes at the same time every morning. But here's the part nobody talks about. If you are over 50 and you've been struggling with sleep for years, your biological sleep system is already compromised. Decades of chronic stress, processed food, high-dose melatonin supplements, and prescription sleep aids have created cumulative damage that habits alone take a long time to repair. This is not a willpower problem. This is a biological one. The Japanese adults in that Okinawa study didn't start their habits at 60. They had been doing them since childhood. You and I don't have that runway. We need to give the brain direct support while we rebuild. This is exactly where U-Sleep comes in. Unlike prescription medications that sedate you, or high-dose melatonin supplements that leave you groggy and dependent, U-Sleep works by supporting the brain's natural sleep pressure system using 10 clinically researched plant-based compounds. It contains magnesium glycinate for restorative deep sleep, lemon balm extract that lowers cortisol and stops the 3 a.m. wake-up so many of us know too well, and L-theanine to quiet a racing mind, the same compound found in the Japanese evening tea ritual, but in a clinical dose. One of the users, Rachel, told the company, "I was constantly waking up at 3 to 4 a.m. with my mind racing. When I started taking U-Sleep, it all stopped. Just 2 droppers, 30 minutes before bed. No prescription, no dependency, no morning grogginess. And it's backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you can test it without risk." The link to try U-Sleep is in the description below. You now know what Japanese adults have been doing every night for generations, and you have a way to give your brain the same support while you build those habits yourself. Tonight is the night your sleep starts to change.